Okay.
All right.
Here they come.
Great. Hey everybody, it's Joanna at GSN Planet. How are you today? I'm here with Megan, who is in the control booth working our screen as she always is. Thank you, Megan. And we're here today with Carolyn Parrs. So we're gonna give it a few more minutes to let a few more attendees come in, and then we'll kick off our webinar today. Thanks. Carolyn, are you in Santa Fe or Seattle today?
I am in Seattle.
Okay, very good. All right, well, let's get started. I'd like to say welcome to Carolyn. Thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to have you. I know you have some history with GSN, and I appreciate your support and joining us today. I think we have a really interesting topic, right, in terms of talking about marketing and leveraging your message, and I think the timing couldn't be more perfect. So just by way of background, for those who don't know Carolyn, she is the CEO of her company called Mind Over Markets. It's a messaging and marketing company for sustainable brands. She's been doing this for 17 years and working with companies focused on sustainability, and knows that most cannot figure out how to message their sustainable product or service, so they lose sales. And Mind Over Markets has a proven process that helps companies to clarify their sustainability message and strategy to grow their business, which is, again, couldn't be offered here at a more perfect time. So thank you for joining us today, and I'm just going to let you get started, and we'll kind of try to moderate some questions and really look forward to what you have to say. So thanks for joining us today, Carolyn.
Thank you so much, Joanna, right, and Megan, and
Yes.
Green Spawn Network. I've been involved with the group for over a decade. So I'm so happy you're here and healthy and coming into the next level of what's happening with sustainability. Before I jump into my slides, I just want to say that, like Joanna said, this is such an opportune time. Like, I've been in sustainability since 2003, and I have never seen it as primed as what's happening right now. We have the millennials coming into power, right? Coming into those decision-making levels, and then right behind them, we have our Gen Z. I call it the Generation Greta, that Greta generation coming in right behind them. So it is a really good time. And then with COVID, even though we're in unprecedented times right now and challenges, COVID is also being a wake-up call for us, right? And we're seeing what's happening with the planet responding, and then obviously we're on the planet and what's happening with human beings as well. So connecting the dots of health and sustainability with what's happening right now is also key. People are online and listening. So this is your time. If you have a sustainability message, if it's, especially if it's in your DNA, or if it's a part of what your message is about, this is the time to turn up the volume, because so many brands are doing this right now authentically, and I'm going to show you a little bit about that. So I'm going to jump right into some slides. Let me do share here. Can y'all see that?
Yep.
I'm gonna pull, oh, hold on one second. Just did a, it's not what I wanted. Can you see my slides?
Yeah, we see like the PowerPoint.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it there. There we go. Here we go. Right.
Yep.
So here we are today. That's me. We'll move on. We'll move on from there. Okay. So just setting the tone here. 88%. This is from the Shelton Group that does a lot of reporting on what's happening right now. 88% of Americans think that the average person should be taking concrete steps to reduce his or her environmental impact. And 78% feel that they have a personal responsibility to change their purchasing habits and practices to positively impact the environment. All right, so those numbers have gone up, and this is a really good time. This is what I believe: if you don't have sustainability built into your business, and even beyond spa, in 10 years you'll be obsolete, right? Because this is the way it is right now, and it'll get to the point where it'll get to another level. And if you're not doing anything or very little, you're just going to be passed over. So this is a really good time to say, okay, we're committed. Let's take it to the next level. So 44% of consumers right now are looking at, this is for you spa owners, right? And I know that we're in a tricky time right now, but that will shift, that are looking at the back of products, right? Or the front of products and looking for those messages on their packaging. And obviously, if you're an online business, that's for sure. And when we talk about, I talked a little bit about the millennials, right? So in this study, it said when millennials trust, big word, trust a brand's environmental and social practices, 90% of them will buy from them. And another 95 will recommend them to their family, their friends, social media, very big on social media. So the stage is primed. Here's a little bit of new study that came out around Gen Z, right? Back in 2017, if you look here, 20% of them, this is in sense of priority. Number one, the numbers were 20% in 2017. That got bumped up to and took the lead, right, in 2019. And I bet you if we did this right now, that'd be even higher. I guarantee that. So environment before other social causes, right, is ahead. And we're looking at, right now, I know that because COVID is so urgent, that what I'm hearing in the sustainability world is that climate change took a backseat in the sense that it wasn't in front of people's faces in news right now. But what I'm starting to see now is how that's coming. We're seeing more and more of it as COVID, we're moving into a new stage and I'm going to show you those stages of where we are right now. We're coming into a new stage. You're going to see more and more of that in the media. Okay. So this study came out right at the end of last year. And what they did in this study is it was between Accenture and the United Nations. And they asked 1,000 global CEOs about their goals, specifically too with sustainability. And 99, right, 99 of those CEOs from large companies agree that, quote, sustainable issues are important to the future success of their business. And I love what Unilever said. There's no difference between our business strategy and our sustainability strategy. They're totally integrated. Okay, so it's not like, it's a sidebar anymore. I call it the bar, right, of what needs to happen. So it's totally integrated. And now that no wonder this number is so large, which obviously it's growing, that the global sustainable goods market is now at $2.65 trillion. With another trillion in market opportunity for those brands that can effectively communicate their product or services. I put services in there because it's the whole market, sustainable attributes. So how you communicate it is so important right now. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm just setting up the stage a little bit just so you know. So this is where we are right now, okay? I love this chart because it's showing about, with the pandemic, where we are, in our economy, and where we're going from here. So crisis response, that's when it first hit, right? March, remember those days? And depending on what part of the country. I'm in Seattle, so where they thought at the time it was ground zero, right? There was a nursing home right in Kings County where I live. But we have found since that there was in California and then even earlier. That being said, by March, we were all shocked and awakened to this COVID. And that crisis response, what happens is what happens in the next 1 to 14 days is really important. Many people went on pause, right? We saw that, they were kind of stunned. Pause button, we had to stay home. Then we moved, which is where we are now in between these two stages. How do we stay afloat and solvent, right, in the next 6 months? Now it's the crisis has happened, and we're seeing now the shift and the pivoting that has happened, including your message. So whatever message you have on your website right now, your homepage, if that hasn't changed since March, you're not relevant, right? It doesn't work. So this, because the economy has changed, people's behavior is changing, your message needs to change too. Okay, so that's really important to look through, when you go to your website, to look through the lens of COVID and the world what we're in right now. Now, recovery, this is where we're going, and I said pivoting a little earlier, but pivoting is happening here and looking at revenue channels. So this is this space, and this recovery space, they're talking, right, we got 18 months here. Until that vaccine shows up is basically what we're looking at. So till the end of the year into 2021, we're going to be in recovery. And then we move into this, we'll see ourselves back into a growth period, and then the visionary period, which we were at vision, by the way, before this all happened, in that space, more long-term vision. So this is when we're talking messaging, this is really the territory we're in right now. And that's important, right? Say, like, you know, what's happening right now and how are my customers responding to that? Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 strategies. The first one I've already given you a heads up on is reframe your sustainability messaging. I would just say reframe your message right now, but especially with sustainability. It's time to shift what was happening months ago to what's happening now. Okay, and I just this was my website. I took a screenshot of this before the pandemic and I had move your market, change the world, right? Which was my tagline. Change the world, move your market. It sounds very lofty, right? You can change the world. And it was. And it's not really relevant as much today because what's happening, I'm just saying through my lens, right? As a marketing company, my customers want to sustain their businesses or grow their businesses. That is like what's front and center. So I even changed my messaging to get clear, get heard, grow your business. We help sustainable business create clear messaging and strategies that work. Okay, and I'm going to go a little later on the different sections of your website, but right there, straight up on the header, here's your buy button, which is to schedule a call. I don't see a lot of that. A lot of times I see learn more, share, or take the journey. And that, when I say buy, it's a call to action. It's not passive. If you have goods, it's like shopping. If you are a nonprofit, it's donate. If you are a marketing company, it's schedule a call. Whatever action you want your customer to take, married with a message. This next piece is a lead right on your homepage, a lead generator. I would say 80% of the companies, websites I go to do not have a way to capture an email address other than, hey, join our mail list or our newsletter. Like, who needs another newsletter today, right? People are not giving their email away that easy anymore. So get your lead generator is a way to build your sales funnel, because after you capture that, then you take them on a sales journey, right? So download a free, we wrote 7 ways to grow your sustainable business in a post-pandemic world. So relevancy and timeliness is so important, high value for that lead generator. So that's really important about reframing your message from now, where we are today. Strategy 2, lead with what's important to your customer and let the planet play the supporting role. Now that might seem like, wait a minute, we're talking about sustainability being like a message that needs to be right out there front and center. Well, it does, okay? But I'm gonna show you ways to do that. If your customer is all about the sustainability, for instance, Green Spa Network, right? That's right in your name. So that would be true for you. But ultimately, you have to say, what does my customer, and your customers, probably businesses, what do they want to do right now? What is most important? What is the most important thing for them? You've got to start with that message first, and then let sustainability or the planet or that be what I call a tipping point in your direction. Let me give you an example of that. Here's Allbirds, one of my favorite companies, right? They make some really cool shoes made out of all natural wool. They started the company, they had DNA, like when I say sustainability was in their DNA, sustainability is in their DNA. So, but their messages is about their messages mostly aimed towards millennials, right? Younger, 35 and under. And they're adventurers and they love to run hard, right? They didn't say, oh, we're so sustainable by our shoes. No, they said, run hard, tread light, right? So the tread light part is the sustainability message, but the run hard is the first message, okay? So they combined it. They didn't lead with sustainability. However, which I'm gonna do in a minute, but if you go from this next section, this is their header, which by the way, they changed their header very often. They've changed it since I put this up here, but you scroll down, then they come to a sustainability, actually start talking about their carbon, right out front. They're doing very Patagonia, right? Just being transparent about and where they're going. And I love the way they're doing it. They're a company to watch. But here, back to that messaging, lead with what's important to your customer first. What do they need? What do they want most? And then let sustainability or the planet, green, be the secondary supporting message. I should say the supporting message instead of secondary. It's the supporting message. Here's a company we worked with. It's a paint company, no VOCs, those really yucky chemicals that are in that paint, right? That poison us. So our message here for them, we know that their customer, right? This is like I know it's going to sound like a duh when I say it, but you'd be surprised how many, it's about the simplicity of it, how sometimes it's hard to get to. Their customer wants to paint their homes or paint their living space in some way. And why do we want to do that, right? Because we want to make it beautiful, right? We want to make it fresh. We want to make it alive again, right? So the message was beauty without the beast. And we talked about the beast being those VOC toxic chemicals, right? So that was but we led with beauty and all the beautiful colors that they offer, right? A whole array of that. And guess what? You don't have those nasty chemicals that are in all those other paints. They didn't come out, well, when I first did, but where we came to, they didn't start with all like bad chemicals, because that would really only be a sliver of the market, because if their paints weren't beautiful and didn't work, forget it, game over, right? They only have a really small part of the company, market share. So it was really important for them to talk about beauty. Strategy 3. Increase the clarity of your sustainability efforts. And sometimes this is what happens. Companies are afraid to tell them about what they're doing because they also don't want to shine a light on what they're not doing. Let's stop that. Sustainability is a journey. And it's important to know that journey and showing your customer where you are in the journey. Even if you're at the very beginning, right? You can show them what you're doing, what you have done, what you plan to go. We talked a little bit of like Patagonia. Part of their website, they have a sub-site that's called Footprint Chronicles, which is basically they take some of their clothes, their garments, and they tell the story of what's working, what's not working, and how they're planning on fixing it, right? So that's a transparency story. Remember Allbirds, they're doing that as well. So, and especially with COVID right now, people are connecting the dots. They're saying, wow, COVID, I said this earlier, COVID has really creamed us on so many levels, and it's a health issue. Well, guess what? Spa people, you're in the health business, and connecting those dots between health and wellness and COVID and sustainability is a no-brainer. But you have to connect the dots for your customer. Don't expect them to just do that on their own. We get so many marketing messages every day. So make sure you connect the dots. So like I said, this is, remember when you scroll down from Allbirds, this is the next thing you see. I love this. And they have a little also carbon calculator there. It's not a calculator. It's a ticker, right? That shows where they want to go, where they are now with carbon, and then it goes to zero. And if you look at this copy here, it says, over the next year, we're committed to combining our talents and resources to create the lowest carbon footprint performance shoe. That's what they're doing, ever, with the ultimate goal of a net zero product. So they're saying it's a journey. And then when you click on that, you go to a page that has the whole sustainability story happening, including, this is another big piece, educating. Don't think that everybody even knows what a carbon footprint is. We know more than we ever have. You have to watch out for jargon or even insider language in your organizations. So, but especially if your customer is a consumer and not, B2B, you have to say what it is. And they do. They say, what is a carbon footprint? And then they talk about it. And for solar companies, what is a megawatt? So you have to be able to spell it out. That's really important in sustainability. There's a saying that goes, if you confuse, you lose, right? And that's what happens so many times. You go to a website and you're like, what are they talking about? What is it? And then you know what happens? They're on to the next. You got 10 seconds when you go to a site, to that header. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to go to some websites. So let me just give you a recap of the 3 strategies we talked about today. Reframe your message now for what's happening today, including sustainability. 2, let the planet play a supporting role. What is the most important message? What's most significant to your customer now? And then let the planet be this. That will put you ahead of your competition, right? Because I'm telling you, 75 to 80% of companies do not do that. And you can, and put it right straight out on your homepage. And then increase the clarity, understanding of what sustainability means. Like when your spa or your products have a sustainable message or attributes, make sure it's crystal clear so that people get it. Okay, 3 takeaways. So let me just tell you a little bit what we're going to do right now, just a little bit. I'm going to give you an offer, and then I'm going to go to some sites and spell it out for you. So this is what we believe more than ever in My Number Markets, that your sustainable business is more important than ever. And your message is too important to be lost in the crowd, okay? So these are some of the pain points that I know my customers, that they're confusing their customers, or this is what they tell me: my customers don't really understand the true value of my sustainable products. How do we talk about that? Or there's so much noise online. How do I cut through? So these are all the different things. Then I'm going to show you how to cut through when I go onto these sites, how you can actually be 85% ahead of everybody else. So what we help you do is get clear, distill your message down to the simplest one. So even a 6th grader can understand it, maybe even a 3rd grader. That's the point. It sounds like easy to do, but it's tricky, right? That's why you might need someone to help you do that, because you have so much knowledge about your business, and now you got to distill it down so it's very clear. So we distill your messages down to like the simple, clear message that your customers will respond to. And then we create strategies that will actually get that message heard for the times we live in now. And ultimately, it's about growing your business. That's what our focus is on making your sustainable business grow. I believe sustainable business is the savior of the business world, frankly. So that's why I'm so passionate about it. So if that, I'm going to give you we're doing 50% off on a VIP messaging day, and I'm going to show you a little bit about what we're up to. But if your message is not right on your homepage, which is the first place, we're cutting it in half. Sustainability is in our DNA. We've worked with over 1,000 sustainable businesses by this time in 25 different industries for more than 17 years. That's just some of our logos. I'm going to go right now. I'm going to stop this share, and I'm going to go to some of our websites. We picked out some websites that are service and product, and I'm going to show you what I mean about some of the rules about when you get to a site, remember, clarity is king. So that's the most important thing that you need to do. So let me do a screen. Oh, here we go. There we go. That's where I want to go. So I picked this because I used to live in New Mexico and I love Ojo Caliente. And if you've ever been there, you know what I mean. So when you go to their site now, right, this is the first thing you see, right? Okay. Let me give you the 3 most important things when you get to a header. What has to happen? You have to answer 3 questions. 1, what do you do? What does this company do? 2, how are they going to make my life better? I'm like the customer. How are they going to make my life better? 3, how do I buy from them? Okay. Before you start scrolling down, this is what we call above the fold. Before we start scrolling down, those 3 questions have to be answered, or else if I start looking around and going, well, what do they do? Yeah. And unless I really want to know about them, our attention span is so small. Microsoft says you got 10 seconds, and that's reducing when someone gets to your site, your header, to be able to capture their attention enough. That's what this is supposed to do, this header, to make them continue on the customer journey. And you're going to take them on a journey on your home page. And why is because this is where we are today. We're on phones. 75% of us are scrolling away on our phone, right? We're with our thumb. And so that's why we're seeing your websites is more scrollable, because it's instead of going to another tab. So that's an important piece about taking them on that journey. So let me just say, I'm looking at Ojo Caliente. Do you know what they do? Well, I see that they're a mineral springs resort and spa. Okay. All right. So normally that's not in the right space, but I do. How will they make my life better? They have cool pictures, but if I don't know what Ojo Caliente is, or certainly Ojo Santa Fe, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what their message is. They actually don't have a message right here, right? They're telling me they're a spa, right? And I know that. And then they have discover. That's not a call to action. But when you scroll down, their messaging starts, okay? And I want to just give them 2 points for that. This is now I see their logo, which should have been on the header. And they have a message called Take to the Waters. I don't know, I'm playing like the customer. I'm not sure what take to the waters means. It's probably a phrase that someone has said, right? So take to the waters, okay. I don't know what that means. So this piece is now your subhead has got to, if you bring in something, this is where your clarity has to happen, okay? And then your supporting, this is called a subhead, has to speak to whatever that message was up here. So, and this is, this is where now I find out a unique resort destinations in northern Mexico, honor and share the lands, okay, sacred springs, while providing, it's a little wordy, okay, I'm just gonna say this could be cut, as I'm a copywriter, so I know this could be cut a bit to get more succinct. Genuinely gracious hospitality, each Each spa resort offers different yet complimentary authentic guests. Okay, anyway, that they do now. When I come down, I get to know how they can make my life better. I still don't know how to buy from them, meaning I don't see like, find your room, find your spa. So they discover, oh, there it is again. I'm just going to go down here. Like they're talking more about the healing waters. That's what I really wanted to see at the top. Instead of take to the waters, oh, they're healing waters. Now I get it. Then they talk about gift cards, and stewardship. And then I'm at the footer. I want to just show you something, because I'm going to just go to my site, just because you'll see, I'll be able to illustrate the different sections that are key in the sales process for your journey, even in spa, right? Of course, you have to do it differently than you would a marketing company or any other product. But this is a proven framework, okay? And it's not my framework, right? But it is a proven, studied framework. I just use this framework and with my clients. So here is my header. Here is my logo. Our eye goes like this and this and this. Logo, buy button. My schedule call with me isn't the way people buy. Schedule call, right? Twice. Get clear, get heard, grow your business. Okay, there is an end benefit right there. We help sustainable businesses create clear messaging and marketing that give them an advantage in their marketplace. Do you know what I do? Do you know how I can make your life better? Do you know how to buy from me? Or contact, I would say buy or call to action to connect with me. All those three have been answered here. And down here is what you call a value deck. There's more subtle or sub messages that speak to this. So I know for sustainable businesses, because I've worked with so many of them, that they want to make an impact. Sometimes that's the number one thing they want to do, and ultimately change the world. Now I remember my big change the world like months ago. It's not so big right now, because right now we want to stay alive and we want to grow our businesses. So that's why that is still here, but it's not my big main message. But I also know that many sustainable businesses sometimes struggle between making an impact or making money, right? So, but I put making money first, because to have an impact, you have to make money, okay? So that's really important. I want my businesses that I work with to make money and grow their businesses. So that's your first header. And then you come down, this next section is called the stakes section. And this means, what are the stakes if you do not do anything? If you just like go to default and don't do anything. You'll notice in here, how do you do that is figuring out what are the pain points my customers experiencing right now in their business. And you know what they are. You can ask them too, surveys, but if you've been in business for a few years, you know what some of those pain points are, and you call them out right in this section, because people buy by having a sense of urgency or attention. Right? You do too, right? You don't just go stroll around, I'll buy that. Maybe if you're in, Bloomingdale's, but you have to show them some of the things that maybe are not working, right, in their life. So you call them out. We did it with questions. Like I said, do your customers understand the true value of your sustainable product? I put that in there because so many times I hear that, like, they don't get why it's so important. And so that's a big piece for my customer. Also, their message is confusing their customer. Sometimes they don't even know they're confusing their customer, right? So they need to be told that they can be losing sales. We believe that that's true. There's the buy button again. The next section is the value proposition. This is the answer, which is your company or your organization is the answer to those problems that we just laid out. So create a message that creates sales. That's a marketing message for a marketing company. But notice this isn't big blocks of copy, right? People do not read big blocks of copy. Don't put that on your homepage. There's only actually one smaller block of copy here if they want to read more. here, but people just don't read those. They scan home pages. They don't dive in and read them. So get clear, get heard, grow your business short, sweet. Let them know what each one of those mean. Here's that copy that I told you about. This, if you dissect this piece of copy, there's three things going on in it. I'm stating a problem that I remember clarity, right? Get clear. I go right back, right? I'm making a message. Oh, I forgot to say at the top, don't have more than one message. If you have 4 messages or 3 messages or 3 different things, you know what they remember? 0 messages, okay? So 1 message. And so state the problem, the solution, and the result are happening right here. And then they can go read more on an about page. This is your credibility area, which is, I call it my, you're in good hands with Allstate. So this means it's like, why should we do business with them? Like, are they you know, have they done this before? It's where they feel like they're in good hands, confidence, authority, right? With some empathy. So we put that sustainability is in our DNA. And this is all the different things we've done. You know, I went through this. And then a simple plan to start. 1, 2, 3. Even if you have 17 steps, you can distill it down to 3. Okay. Number 1, schedule a call, right? That's what you want them to do. Number 2, get clear. You'll get clear on your sustainable message and strategy. Number 3, you grow your business. Okay. The number 3 is always the outcome of 1 and 2. All right. There's that lead generator I told you about, right? Capturing a precious email address, right? Because if they gave me my email address, I guarantee you that they have made a small step in commitment to you. Especially today, people don't give that away so easily. So that'll is another webinar. What you do with that email address, you take them through a funnel after that, because they need to be nurtured, right? Only 1 to 3% will buy from you right off the bat. And there's another 30, which is most people, 30% who gave you that and that need a little bit of, you know, they need some nurturing. It's like a date. It's like going on a date and saying, hey, hi, you're great. Can I marry you? Right? No, we need to date a little bit. So that's what this is, it's dating. Testimonials, so important, right? Case study, you don't need that for spa. And then this is just the guide, that's me. This is like the founder. If you have that kind of story, you may or may not. Then down in the footer here, another way to capture, we give business tips out to sustainable businesses. I want to go back to OHO now. And so did you see that? There's actually 7 sections there. It goes, and it takes your customer on a journey from the stakes to the value to explaining a little bit more to the plan of action. So it just gives them, and you can do this in a spa-like way. So often I just see a beautiful picture or a couple of messages here, messages, but like what's the why? Like spa can tell me why you'd be needed more than ever now on planet. Let people remind people, even tell people why. I'm going to go to another site just to look at the time, right? I'll take another 5 minutes or so on this other site, which was a volunteer from, I hope you're on today. This is a product. And why I picked this site is because, number 1, it's a product. And number 2, they got some of those stages right. And so I said, I'm going to talk to them. And I got permission. So she's got the logo up here, right? And I'm going to remember, we're going to see if it passes that test, those 3 things, right? She has a 50, there's the menu. You can put the menu there if you want. I know still people like menus. I chose the hamburger, those 3 lines, because people are used to that. And it makes for a cleaner header, less cluttered. But this is fine. You can keep that here. The only problem is that they may go here, click there, right? And then they take you off the homepage where your story is. And so they didn't get to the whole story. That's why I like having the hamburger 3 lines. So there's get 50% off, right? Really what's happening should happen here is your buy button on some level, okay? Now, we see a messaging. Breathe easy, melt stress, relieve pain, fight inflammation. Okay, so there are 4 messages here, right? What I would say to you is, what is the most significant thing, and just the most significant thing that most of your customers are coming to you for? If you put all of these messages on your header, they're not going to remember it. If you ask them like 5 minutes later, so what did that header say? You know, what were you going to help me with? They may not remember because there's just too many. So remember that we have limited brain capacity in these stages because there's so many marketing messages coming at us at once. So breathe easy, melt stress, relieve pain, flight. I would be finding a message that maybe incorporates that, but a singular thing that your customers want, with then a subhead underneath describing crystal clear what it is, how you can make my life better. Okay? So looking at it now, 3 things. Do you know what they do? Okay, I know that they're going to help me. I'm not sure if they're a product yet. Maybe they are even a spa, right? How are they going to make my life better? Well, I definitely see some messaging here, all these different things. The only thing is it needs to be consolidated. And then how do I buy from them, right? Not sure yet. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down. So results you can feel good about, great, except it needs to be further down. Let's tell them what's not working, right? They just told me in the header. Let's pull that out. Remember that stake section? If like they don't do anything, what can happen? Then we're talking results. It's like we need the problem before we have the solution. Okay, so that's what happens here. So this is good, except let's just get it. Let's just get it further down. And then offerings. So they have products. So that's you know, if you have actually sell products, that's where we want to see it. But it looks like it's a spa, right? Massage therapy, organic. You can show this. There's different. There's 6 here. I wouldn't go more than 6. There's a call to action. Now I got my call to action here. Thank you. But the products, I still needed those other sections before I got to buy from me. Here are my products. The slow code difference. This is where a little bit of sustainability message is here. That should have been before my products, because think about it, right? It's just logically how we decide. It's like here, if we see our products right automatically, it's like, wait a minute, I'm not even sure I know what you like, how you're going to help me. And instead you want me to buy from you. So this is a little further up. There is a testimonials right on. I love it. And then they have contact us. Here's a contact us. Get exclusive offers. I'm not sure if I'm going to put that. I want to get some more information here on what exactly, because it's like, it's another email. So I want to know, that needs more description. And then I'm at the bottom. So this was a decent site. It just is missing. There's 2 sections that I see missing all the time. It's number 1. I'm going to stop from here after I say this so we can get some questions. Number 1 is the stakes, right? You don't tell me why I should be buying from you, right? And I'd say 3, and how easy it is, 1, 2, 3 to buy, to connect, whatever your buy is, right? And then the lead generator. That is like golden. You have them on the homepage. Let's see how I can give them something of high value so they will give me their email address, because if I don't have their email address, I can't sell them anymore. It's like somebody actually gets to your site, and then it's like the fish that gets off the, you know, you're casting out and the fish is there and then it's gone, right? Because you didn't get their email address. So and that includes social media too. Really important. Social media, you find ways to convert social media people to also to go to your site and get that email address, because you own nothing. Facebook owns all your people. LinkedIn owns it, right? Unless you get their email, that's theirs because they'll change an algorithm and then you're gone. You're lost. So let me stop. I've been going at you for what, 45 minutes. I apologize for that. So questions, comments?
No apologies. Thank you very much. That was great. Maybe I'll start with a question while some folks, if you're in the audience, feel free to type your questions into the message or the chat box. But when you talk about this how do you buy part, are there some really key components that are essential to that question? Because so many of us sort of have complicated buy scenarios, right? It's either a product or a service, and how do you drill that down enough to be clear?
Yes, that is such a great question. I had just worked recently with an organic bedding company, right? And I said, explain to me how people buy from you. And you know, we went on for about 15 minutes. So, and I'm like, okay. So, but basically what you're telling me is that you give them a call, you know, you press order now, right? And then in one sentence, it was distilled down to made to order organic mattress made with, and it's super sustainable, with 100% sustainable, the most sustainable materials on the planet delivered to your front door. Number 2. Number 3, you get the best sleep of your life or your money back.
Okay.
Bam. Okay. So
Yeah.
anything, I promise you, and what you're looking for when you distill it down is the number 1, what's the first action they need to take, right? Which is contacting you in some way. Second, after they do that, right? Let's just say they go through that process. You're showing them here, it's so easy to do business with you. Then they're gonna go click on that and go, maybe they'll have to answer more questions, right? That's fine. But here it's 1, our plan is so simple, 1, 2, 3. The second one is the result of what it is. And the third, not the result. The second one is how they do it, right? And what they get. And the third is their result, what they feel or they experience after they have done business with you, okay? Like a spa can talk that completely, what happens, you know, and especially what is your message is going to be. Now for the organic company, there are so many different bed companies and they have different messages. But now when I looked at all of those, their messages were like, go natural. Well, go natural? What does that mean? What does that give me? Go natural, right?
It doesn't say you're the best sleep of your life.
I'm like, all right, that's not an end benefit, okay?
Right.
But wake up with more energy is.
Right.
See the difference?
Yeah.
By going natural, by being sustainable. So your sustainable message is kind of one of the incredible ingredients you have into whatever your customer ultimately wants.
So making the message an action.
Yeah, action, right, action. And you know, like I said, back to the homepage, they're scanning it, right? Then if you can get them through, and it'll take you, I don't even know, a minute to go through all that. You're not reading tons of copy, but you're taking them through stages in their mind, and you're answering questions and barriers, right, for them to buy. And then they go into your website more deeply, and you can get into it there more deeply, right? But on your homepage, make it easy, right? So that they stay on and convert.
Great.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So folks in the audience, do you have questions for Carolyn? Because we're approaching the top of the hour.
So let me say this before you guys go away, that I will go on a one-on-one. You just shoot me an email at cparrs@mindovermarkets.com, and I'd be happy to sit with you for no strings attached, just to go over your homepage, and you'll get a lot of benefit out of it. And I'll just show, I'll laser to show you different things that you can do. If you do need help, right? If you do need help and want it and help, we can do that too. That's the 50% off. And I'll just say what it is. It's normally, we actually charge $5,500 to do all that 7 stages of messaging, your one-liner, your tag, the whole thing. and it's $2,500 this month. Okay, so it's half off. So
Awesome.
anyway,
Awesome.
go ahead.
Thank you.
Just shoot some questions.
Thank you so much for that, Carolyn. So anybody in the audience, do you have any questions? What can Carolyn answer for you today?
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Sometimes they are shy. It happens. And maybe that would be it for today. But that's okay. It's a great offer. Really appreciate you and your time. Oh, look, we do have a question. Wait a second. How do I translate two messages? That's a great question.
So you have two different messages,
Yeah.
right? You have to pick one, okay? Basically, but I don't know which one to pick. Okay, so you can change the messaging on your homepage, right? Sometimes we say, oh, we have to keep it up there for 5 years. No, we do not. So either
She's saying, I'm going to interrupt you. She's saying between social justice and sustainability, which is maybe the more compelling message.
Oh, that depends on who your customer is, okay?
Yeah.
So if you have a social justice business, or, then it's going to be about social justice, and sustainability is going to be, part of that, right? Or the other way around, okay?
She has a sustainable beauty brand. She has a sustainable beauty brand that's focused on those two things.
Okay.
I think she needs to
call me, okay? I'll ask some questions to that. I'm going to just say, number one, this is another way to do it, is like get a dozen of your favorite customers that love you, right? And ask them,
focus group.
What are the top 3 reasons you are here in order, okay? And if you're going to find that out, just ask your customer what it is, and then you'll learn which one. And I would also say with that, you can test different messages, okay? You can do it easily on Facebook. You can put, same visual, create a little ad, same visual, different messages, put it out there over a week's time, and you can see where you're getting your traction. That's one. Or ask your customer already what's happening. Those, without knowing more, those are probably 2 ways that I would start.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much, Carolyn. A pleasure having you. I thought that was really an awesome presentation. Can we type in, okay, great. Megan already did it. Someone's asking for your contact information. So we've typed it into the chat. So anyone who's interested in connecting with Carolyn can get her email there. And we will make this presentation available to our membership. We've recorded it. Megan will send it out. And thank you so much for being here today.
Awesome. You can, just to make it easy, if you didn't get the email either, you can just go to Mind Over Markets and just hit that buy button. No, it's not a button. Just schedule a call and just say, hey, I was here for the free homepage makeover, we're calling it. So, okay.
Great.
Thank you so much for inviting me on today. I so appreciate it. Feel free also to shoot me any questions. If there's any lingering questions, feel free to just shoot me an email. Okay?
Will do. Thanks, Carolyn. Thank you, Megan. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, everyone. See you next week.